Hello, this is Crypto CJ. It's the trade of the day, Friday afternoon edition, and we're going to be talking Altcoin Alert today. I've got a few new people, so I think a general review could be in order. We'll get to that shortly. We like to start with the overall market, looking at Bitcoin and Ethereum. So we'll do that now. Let's go to my Bitcoin chart. Okay, you guys should be seeing my Bitcoin day chart.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
And let me make some room here. All right, so we're still in the same channel that we were talking about on Monday and maybe even last Friday, where Bitcoin can't quite push above 24.4 and keep it. Did kind of flirt with 25 up here. We hit 24.9, but wicked down pretty quickly yesterday. So this seems to be, we're at the top of the range. So for those of you who trade on leverage, I'm thinking about a short this weekend, but I'm not sure. Maybe tonight or tomorrow. But because wouldn't surprise me if we retraced over the weekend, bounce back up. But I seem to say that every Friday, and then it either retraces just a little bit or actually goes up. But we have lower volume over the weekend, so it's something to take into consideration. There was a lot of financial news this week, and Bitcoin withstood it pretty well. Some of it was good, some of it was bad, at least in how the markets interpret it. I'm not going to go over all that. You guys can find that on your own. But anyway, I'm pleased to see Bitcoin over 24K. I'd like to eventually push through that resistance and make it support, but we're probably a couple of weeks away from that. News-wise, over here on TradingView, didn't really see anything worth talking about. I did on Ethereum. Let's actually look at Ethereum now. Ethereum has had a much better move in the last month or two. It's gone up at 90% from $1,000 back in June to 1,900. And if we stay above 1,900 for another couple hours, that'll be the daily close. 3 straight green candles on Ethereum, so it's looking good. A lot of news about the merge. ETH 2.0 slated for September. They've had some testing that's gone well, so overall things looking pretty good for Ethereum. And I was looking at this article here. Ethereum price forecast remains bullish as network nears another milestone. Milestone's 2,000, so, and plus obviously the merge. So it'd be kind of interesting to see if we push up past 2,000 before the merge takes place. This could be a buy the rumor, sell the news event, where we get a pump in Ethereum up until shortly before the merge actually officially happens, and then it drops down to like 1,500 or something. This merge has been talked about since I've been in crypto last 2.5 years, so I'm still skeptical that it's going to happen, but they're closer now than they were before, so we'll see. Okay, any questions or comments about Ethereum, Bitcoin, or the market overall?
Is this the time where I ask you questions about Alt Alert or not yet?
Not yet, but okay. I like your enthusiasm, so it's okay to speak up. All right. Other than Catherine, anybody else want to speak up about the market overall before we talk about Altcoin Alert? All right. Let's talk about Altcoin Alert.
Hey CJ, this is Shahab.
Hey Shahab.
Just wanted to check if this run for Ethereum and Bitcoin will have that kind of intensity to go further.
Are you asking if Bitcoin or Ethereum could dip soon?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, that's
because volume has gone down.
Yeah, volume's not that good overall. So it's definitely a possibility as we go into the weekend. Obviously it's, how much is the dip going to be? Will it drop all the way down to the bottom of this range, down to 18.8? That's unlikely, but Got some daily support
Okay.
here
Right.
around 22.6. That wouldn't surprise me at all. So, you know, a little pullback, let's say medium-sized pullback like that, you know, down to the current support, you know, 5-6% wouldn't surprise me at all. That happened sometime between now and Monday. Not sure if we have any big news coming up next week, but you know, financial news that would, you know, adversely affect the stock market, which would in turn adversely affect Bitcoin. So yes, it is possible that we have a dip. I often like to have a short, you know, I do mostly derivatives trading. I like to have a short in place on Friday night or Saturday morning to catch one of those if it happens. If not, then it's usually a small amount of money. I'm not that concerned if it stops out, but
Sir?
yes, you can call me
So-
CJ.
CJ, I was under the impression that you couldn't short crypto.
Oh yeah, you can short it all day.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, so I know you're fairly new to crypto. You shouldn't short if you're new. You should learn how to spot trade first. And that's what I emphasize in this, you know, in this program. But I know, you know, since I do it myself and I know there are other traders on, you know, like Craig and Linnell and some others who do.
I'm not talking about me shorting, but my husband shorts in the stock market all the time. So,
Same concept.
okay.
Yeah, you can do it on an exchange. But again, so we talk about it a little bit here, but it's not the focus of what I talk about. But I do use Altcoin Alert sometimes to find shorting opportunities, and we usually do one on Fridays and sometimes one on Mondays. But okay, any other questions about Bitcoin and Ethereum before we go to Altcoin Alert? All right. So here is how I look at Altcoin Alert. I've got the altcoin radar selected. I have easy mode off. I want all the information. And I use Altcoin Alert to find coins to trade. I don't use it to tell me when to get in and out. I have my own technical analysis for that. And that's one of the things I'll just share with you guys, some fairly simple, you know, technical analysis and how to set alerts to get good entries on the coins that Altcoin Alert is recommending. So I have the long-term sentiment sort on now, but that's not, we'll do that in a minute. The first one I usually look at is the AA score. And I'm sorting for bullish first. And this is a new feature on Altcoin Alert where they've added, you don't have to scroll to find this information out. It'll tell you how many bullish and very bullish tokens there are, how many are neutral, and how many are bearish or very bearish. So unfortunately for us at this very moment, there's not much bullish. And I don't even look at something unless it's very bullish. So that's going to be 80, score of 80 or higher. So this is disappointing to me that we don't have any 80 or higher. And I think that's just a function of the market that's somewhat trending up, and in a lot of ways just going sideways. We have a few outliers that have been pumping up. So then I'm going to go to my secondary sort, which is the one I probably use the most anyway, and that's this long-term sentiment sort. So I'm going to click on this. It's going to give me very bullish and bullish. Now the long-term sentiment, you know, for review is the Twitter data. What are people talking about online? If you hover over this question mark, it'll explain exactly what it is. But what I think about when I see this is the word on the street. It's comparing, you know, the last 24 hours to the last 20 days. If something is very bullish and I see bullish or better on this one, the Elder Impulse Daily, again, you can hover over the question mark and it'll tell you what it is, but it's a technical indicator. So if I have my sentiment, you know, the word, what people are talking about, and the technicals are both in alignment, that's something I want to check out. I'm going to look at this some more. And so I'm going to look through this list for coins that I've put a star by, because these are coins I've traded before. I'm somewhat familiar with them. And then sometimes you know, something new will come up Telcoin. I've never traded Telcoin. And then I'll look at that. It's up 10% today. Might be played out, not sure. So that, I think that's why we'll get a neutral altcoin alert or AA score on something that's gone up pretty well, because AA thinks it's played out already. It's already made its run. But a lot of times these pull back and then go again, and that's what I'm trying to catch. So, and that's some of the techniques I'm going to show you guys. And that's the 1, 2, 3 dip trading, and then some of the alerts I like to set on indicators. So this morning I did my usual altcoin alert search. I found 2 that I liked, XMR or Monero, and OGN, Origin Protocol. These are 2 I've traded with some frequency in the past. So let's go ahead, and I've got those charts up anyway. Let's look at XMR first. All right, so this is the XMR chart. I don't see anything in a dip sequence right now. It could possibly go, but it's not dipping yet. I'm looking for a bubble and then a dip. And if you're on here, you should be on my email list, and you should have seen the 1, 2, 3 dip training from iCoin Pro. That's probably my favorite strategy. So if I don't see what I'm looking for immediately, I'm going to set an alert and try to have that happen sometime today. But I want to have a big picture what's going on with this coin. So I'm going to click my day chart. Some old drawings on this, get rid of those. And we've seen this configuration in a lot of coins this year. It had a big move in, well, this one was in April. A lot of them were towards the end of last year. This one had a big move in April, dropped 60+%, and then it's come up a bit since then. Yeah, it was actually a bigger move back here in November, September. But all I want to know from that quick review is, does the coin have room to move? It's hard to do dip trades when something's at an all-time high. Hasn't been really an issue this year. Last year it was. But anyway, let's move on to the 1 hour, get a closer, get rid of these divergences for now. A closer look at what's going on at Head and Shoulders here. That's different. Or reverse Head and Shoulders. I'm not one much for structures, but some people talk about such things. And on the hour, since Wednesday, up 6%. So not a huge move, but not bad. Then I'll go to my 5-minute. And I want to put an alert somewhere where I want this to drop and then go back up again. So just looking at the 5-minute chart, I spy with my little eye a couple areas of support. Right about here, there's a clump of candles, and again here that bounces off at about 159.3. So I could put an alert there, a price alert. Just right click, add an alert. That's 159.3. Crossing. And then I like to use for my alert names where I can receive the information from. I do have other information sources besides Altcoin Alert, but so I want to differentiate those and when I track my trades. Long-term sentiment buy, that's the sort we just used. So that's the one I would do if I were doing a price alert. So that's one option. There's kind of some support in this area here between about 161 and 162. You could go in small there, and then maybe if it drops beyond that, do the 159 later, kind of dollar cost average or ladder buy into it. So that's how I would do a price alert. I don't use many price alerts because I prefer indicator alerts on the 15-minute chart. And there's a couple I like to use. This is Divergence. You can drop this into your chart this way. Type in Divergence, and this is the one I like for many indicators, version 4. And Divergence is simply a disagreement between the price action and the indicators. So like this bullish divergence is, the price action is down, but the indicators are moving up. So that that has some predictive value, and you can get ahead of the retrace and the bounce. So that's why I like Divergence. And I could probably do a whole video on Divergence. I think I have actually. It's been a while, but this is one of my favorite ways to find entry points for trades. So if I want to do an alert on this one, I right click here, add an alert on Divergence. I want positive once per bar close. That's important. And again, that's going to be my long-term sentiment buy. Okay, so that's one option. What I've been doing lately, the most of the time, is this MFI. This is the money flow index. The RSI is relative strength index. Stochastic RSI is a more sensitive version of the RSI. Actually, I should put MACD back here, but I keep forgetting. I just use this for confirmation anyway. I don't trade off of it. But I will make trading decisions based on the MFI and looking at the charts again after one of my alerts goes off. This 20 level down here is considered oversold. Usually when something hits the 20 level, it comes back. And that can be a good trade. So this one happened yesterday, actually on Wednesday afternoon, and it dropped below and started coming back up. As you can see, had I taken that trade, it would have dropped a little bit, but eventually, about 3%. I'm usually looking for maybe 2 to 5% on most of these trades. And I tend to look at, past resistance to determine where I get out. So since we had resistance in this up here around 167, that probably would have been my goal. So get up here, 167. Had I stayed in that trade, had I made that determination, I'd still be in that trade. But if I'm in something more than a day, I usually lower my target. So I probably would have lowered it down to about 3% or 4% and been out, in this time. So I keep thinking today's the 13th, today's the 12th. So I said this was Wednesday, is actually yesterday. Anyway, so that's and so if you want to do an alert on the MFI, you click on the MFI here, add the alert, crossing up 20 once per bar close. And again, that's going to be my long-term sentiment alert, but I already have one in, so I'm not going to do another one. Unfortunately, it did not. This is dipping now, so it wouldn't surprise me if this dropped below and then came back up and I had a trade, tonight or tomorrow morning. Okay, any questions on Monero and how I use alerts? If you're new, you're not that familiar with these indicators, you may want to go back and watch this again, or watch one of my prior videos where I talk about them in some detail. On the Monday video, that one's usually a little longer. I go over iCoin Pro as well, another information source I use to find trades. And then I go over these kind of alerts, usually on 4 or 5, maybe 6 different coins. So if you want to use this approach, and I like it because I don't have to sit in front of the computer all day. I just wait for my alerts to go off on my computer or my phone, and then I can reevaluate once those happen. So, all right, well, No questions on XMR. We'll look at OGN, which was the other one. And let's start from the day chart. And we had a big move in March. That's annoying. So like 200% move. Wow. And then gave all of it back. And actually down a little bit since then. Since the 9th, up 11%, not a huge move, down a little bit. The 5-minute. It's down the bottom of the Bollinger Band here, but it hasn't punched through. Does look like a bubble could be forming. Like this is the, it's not a perfect example, but this is usually what I'm looking for on my dip trades. 1, 2, third dip. See how it's bubbling out. So I probably get in right about here. And then I'd probably look to this area as my target, 2.4%. And I'm out in 3.5 hours, pretty good day trade. But we're not there yet. As far as a price alert, we're at pretty close to some support here, but since we're about to go into a dip, I'd probably want to get in right about here at 22.8 cents. Here we're at about 22.6 cents. So in this vicinity would be my price alert, maybe halfway, around 0.227. Price alerts you can only do once. Or maybe you can cross that area. Yeah, you probably could. Long-term sentiment buy, and off you go. So that's one approach. And then, as you guys know, I like my indicator alerts on the 15-minute chart. Could go with a divergence alert. And when I was prepping for this, I was looking at some of these charts and divergence, and I thought, what I haven't done is used divergence as a guide for ladder buys. Quick review, ladder buy is something I like to do. Instead of just taking a loss, if you make another purchase, like dollar cost averaging, a lot of times you can get out of that trade in profit. And here's a really good example. Let's say I had an alert here on this divergence, and I take this trade when it goes off. Actually, it's not a great example because I probably would have just gotten out with 2.3%. But let's say it just misses where I want it to go, and then it goes through here and drops again. So what I think might be a good idea, not trading advice or not investing advice, but is take your ladder buy here on this divergence. So you probably get in on this candle here. You go and then you set your profit a little bit above your initial entry. So in this scenario, you probably get out right here around 2.7%, and then you break even on your first trade. So that way the trades, at least I consider that a win. Get a nice, my second one gets a nice, a nice profit, and then my first one breaks even. So overall, that's profitable. The downside of this is sometimes if you do it and the market's really dropping, falling off a cliff, you might be doing a bunch of these and wrecking your account. So you have to be careful with it. Okay. And I already showed you how to do an MFI alert on the the XMR. So the RSI is another tool that has it moves pretty similar to the MFI, but not always. So what I like to do is look at the one which has produced the best entries. and put my alert on that. Lately, it's been the MFI, but sometimes it is the RSI. And I've got entries here, here, and here. So these 3 potential entries on the MFI, but the RSI, which I want to drop below 30, which is considered oversold, and come back up, I've only got this 1 entry here, which duplicates the MFI. So the MFI is a little more sensitive. And so that's the one I would go with. But if you want, you say, no, I think the RSI is a better option. That one, that's easy. Right click on the RSI, crossing up, 30, once per bar close, and your information source. So that's how you would do that. Now, let's say, some of these don't quite make it to the 30. You only go, here like 34. This one was at 36, 37, 38. Sometimes I'll put my alert, above the 30 to maybe 35. That way you would catch this one, but not these 2. Just depends on what's happened in the past and what your priorities are. All right, any questions on OGN? Well, we're at about 30 minutes. I'll do one more sort on Altcoin Alert. Throw it open to questions. So that's the long-term sentiment sort. You can sort by any of these columns. How about the 24-hour change? What's hot? So if you're more of a trend trader, I like the drop and then the trend starts and then I get in. That's how I like to trade. Let's see. We could look at. I usually like the ones that are a little less than double digits. SLP, Chili's. SLP is just under 10%. Very bullish on sentiment and bullish on the Elder Impulse Daily. So I think that's worth checking out. SLP, I think that's on my list. Yeah. Okay, wow, this one's really fallen off a rock. So this one's gone from 41 cents to less than 1. Wow. This one makes me a little nervous. On the 1 hour. Yeah, I know this is a gaming token. Maybe the game's not that popular anymore. It's up 50% in last couple of weeks. Someone's buying it. 5 minute. Yeah, this is what we call a squeeze. And the Bollinger Bands are really close together. Not even 2% apart. Yeah, it's not much action on this. I'm not going to go through the usual on this. I think I would reject it at this point. And there's a lot of, yeah, just not much happening. Of course, it is Friday afternoon, tends to be lower in volume. It's Saturday in a lot of the parts of the world right now. So I'm not seeing much action on this one. I'm gonna go back to my Altcoin Alert and look at something else. Chili's. Yeah, let's look at Chili's. We got short-term sentiment bullish and Elder Impulse Daily. But the Elder Impulse Hourly is also bullish on this one. So we could ponder this one for a real short, just to be in it for maybe a few hours. I'm a day trader, not an hour trader, but an hour's better than a day. Chili's. And this one's trending up nicely today. Take a quick look at this history. Big move at the end of March. 70% drop, coming back. On the hour. From the 9th to today, up 16%, good stuff. 5-minute chart. Towards the top of the Bollinger Band, not a good entry point. So this one's gonna be another one. You do you do an alert on, actually, let's look at the 5-minute. For a price alert, probably in this vicinity here. Or maybe even here. Some support right around 16 cents. We're about 16.4 now, again at 15.2. And again at just under 15 cents. So yeah, I think I would go maybe 15 cents for a price alert. Okay. What sort was that? I forgot. 24-hour? Yeah. And my friend Robert came up with this sort, so I give him credit on it. And there we go. So there's my price alert. Comes down to 15 cents. We can also do the aforementioned indicator alerts. You know, could go with bullish divergence. There's nothing wrong with putting more than one alert. Positive divergence once. Robert. And I'm ready for that one. And we've already shown the MFI and the RSI alerts, but those would also be options here. And again, it does look like the MFI is a little more sensitive. You know, you could have, on this one, you could have gotten in around here. Goes up 1%, then drops some. Again, you might want to ladder buy here, like I just talked about. And you'd be out, you know, right about here with a, well, I'd probably hold this a little longer, try to get 2% on my first position, maybe about 4% on my second. Okay. Well, that's about all I have for Chili's and Altcoin Alert. I know for some of you new folks, I dumped a lot on you for just 35 minutes or so. Hopefully it's useful to you. Do we have any questions on Altcoin Alert?
So I do have a question, CJ.
Okay.
So every day we get Bryce's, like his top AA scores, his top 5 gainers, and then the top bottoms.
Mhm.
So does that mean, I'm very, very new, like very new.
Yep.
Does that mean we should look at, like, this was from Saturday, we should look at Coin Metro and Top and Nano, or they've already, I mean, because they're bullish, but not very bullish. I'm just trying to figure out how to get the best out of these that I get every evening.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. The email you get.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't use that, to be candid.
Oh, okay. So it's not, is it a good learning tool for me?
I'm trying to think. Yeah, I'm not really seeing it here. Well, it's not, I mean, you could accomplish that with the sort I just showed you, the 24-hour sort. Yeah, that's going to show you, this one here. That's going to show you the top coins of the day. And it'll show you contemporaneously while you're trading or while you're getting set up, putting your alerts on, things like that. If you want to try to catch a trend on some of these, you could do it that way. You could also sort it this way and look to see what's not doing well. If you see something on there that's usually a good coin, like Anchor had a big move earlier in the week, but now it's been dropping. if you think it's going to come back, then you might be able to find it this way with this kind of sort. And then go through the process I just showed you to evaluate the chart and try to find the ideal, maybe not the ideal, but a good entry point. So, you don't want to wait for, for Bryce's email necessarily, when you can just go ahead and find this information, at this moment. Does that answer your question?
Yes. So this, I shouldn't put a lot of stock in this.
In the
And-
email?
Yes.
Yeah, that's just a review of the day.
Oh, okay.
It never even occurred to me to trade off of that. So,
Okay. Well, I'm really new to this whole thing.
yeah, that's
I mean,
okay.
I'm not even a stock trader.
That's okay. And, there are some, I think I have, see if I have one handy. Don't. Or we could look over it briefly, but yeah, I don't really have, if you join me Monday and you want to bring that up again, like send me an email or something and I'll have it ready to look at and we can kind of pick it apart. But, I prefer doing it, obviously, though. This is the way. What I've showed you today is how I've done this for probably over a year now. And I'm open to change if somebody has a better idea, but, I just like to look at the information as it is right now, as opposed to looking at someone's email, which is really accumulation. So. All right. Any other questions?
So what if someone is really mostly interested in longer term, not minutes or even hours or even days, just like the longer term?
Well, you do have to define that. If you like a long-term swing trader, could be in for several days and try to use Altcoin Alert in that way. It's not how I do it, so I'm probably not a good source, but I know some people do it that way. I think Pizza Mind and CryptNation does, and some others. So, they talk about that kind of thing in the Slack group. Actually, in the Slack group, they talk about everything except day trading. So I've always thought Altcoin Alert was a day trading platform. I always recognized it that way, maybe because that's what I learned first. But there is some discussion. I know Brooklyn, one of the AA ambassadors, like trades like that with some frequency. So, and some of the other folks do too. So that would be another source of, potential trades, is that Slack group. Okay, I know you're in the Slack group. I think that's where we first met. So
Yes.
yeah, okay. Okay, any other questions? All right, well, I will wrap it up here then. If you're watching.
This is Shahab again.
Oh, go ahead, Shahab.
Yeah, so I saw the
Speak up, though. I can barely hear you.
sorry, I saw the altcoin alert. So it shows around 243 coins at a neutral phase, not showing any bearish or bullish.
Okay.
So I'm still at a very early stage of understanding sentiment and Twitter feed, but if it shows a neutral trend, is it better not to trade at all at this point of time?
The AA score, maybe I should define what that is. What the AA score says is in the next 48 to 72 hours, get a better one. This coin top has a 69.1% chance of going up 3% or more. And usually high scores are quality. Let's just say halfway decent coins that have dipped a bit and are due for a comeback. So that's why you'll see bullish and down 14%. So the AA software thinks that this coin has a 69% chance to come back from this 14, almost 15% dip.
Okay.
But that's too low for me. I want 80% or higher. So I'm not going to look at this. I've only got so much time to evaluate coins. Now, another option is there are other sorts. You know, we went over some of the other sorts, and I've had some success with this long-term sentiment sort, which shows
Okay.
me very bullish when I match it up with Elder Impulse. It's, you know, this is something maybe, well, I looked at some of these others, OGN and XMR, because I traded them before. You know, I could have
Okay.
looked at Telcoin, and so these values are good too, that we just don't have an AA score telling us that this is, you know, on this criteria is going to go up, but on this criteria, it's worth looking at. So
do you prioritize any of it with respect to long-term and AA score?
you broke up some, but I think you're asking about a long-term and AA score.
Right.
Well, either one I think is useful. And
Either one is-
remember, I'm not going to make trading decisions based on this information. This just keys me into what I want to look at. If I see something I like on the charts, then I'm,
Okay.
you know, like I ruled out that SLP because I didn't like what I saw on the charts, even though it had, you know, very bullish and bullish. So,
Understood.
okay.
Uh.
All right, guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up now, because I have some people waiting for another webinar. If you're watching on the recording, thanks for doing that. Hope we see you live next time. Please see the opportunities listed in the comments below. They help support the channel. If you're in Carbon, please stick around. I'll be starting that Zoom in a few minutes. I'll be right back.